evening and welcome to Meticulous Moments. My name is Juanita Kapp. You can reach me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com or find me on LinkedIn. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the globe, I've had the wonderful privilege to meet a wide array of fantastic individuals. These individuals have truly touched my life in so many positive ways. Amongst this group of people, there are authors, public speakers, life coaches, poets, leaders, and visionaries. They are the unsung heroes of our time. Therefore, I decided to start the Meticulous Moments movement out of a sense of my gratitude. It is my way of giving back to the community. Let us share and reshare their stories in an effort to build a better society. Today we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing Francine Sinclair. She can be reached at www.francineSinclair.com. A little bit more about Francine. Francine repurposes content. She's very much into the digital marketing world. I will read a little bit about her profile. For CEOs that want to market more while creating less content, then Francine is the person to contact. Content repurposing, social media ghostwriting, audience building. Are you ready to improve your social media marketing by doing less? Find out how with the Limitless Content Method. I had a lovely discussion on leadership with Francine Sinclair. It was truly a wonderful interview. Enjoy it with us. And with that, we want to welcome our special guest. Welcome, Francine Sinclair. Good evening, Meticulous Moments audience. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another vibrant session on leadership. And here at Meticulous Moments, of course, we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And today, we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing Francine Sinclair. Welcome, Francine.
Hello, Juanita. Thanks for inviting me.
It's absolutely a pleasure. It is so wonderful to have you on. We've talked virtually, we've messengered each other, and you are just such a sprightly person. And I feel like I know you longer than I have, but I want you to please introduce yourself to the audience as well.
Well, thank you so much. My name is Francine Sinclair. I live in Tampa, Florida, in the United States. I'm originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is an island in the Caribbean. I am a mother of two, a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old, married. What I do is I am a content repurposing specialist. That means that I take content and I repurpose it in order to be able to increase the output of a person's content. I am also a social media ghostwriter. What does that mean? I ghostwrite captions and personal stories for social media, and I primarily work with visionary CEOs who are at the verge of scaling or have already scaled, and they are looking for someone to take control of 90% of their social media for them. And so that's what I do. Thank you.
That's phenomenal, Francine. I was just thinking, as you were explaining what you do, how you repurpose the content, that is just awesome. And I was thinking to say the following to all the CEOs in this call who are watching: you need someone like Francine to take your business to the next level and to help you scale. So thank you so much for explaining that. Now, how did you get into the industry that you are in? How did this journey start for you?
Well, it started quite accidentally, I guess, because even though I did go to university and studied marketing, public relations, I never actually worked in that capacity ever. And then, I was in different positions in corporate, mostly in the financial area. It's surprising. And then later on in life, I got married. I became a stay-at-home mom for 13 years.
Yeah.
And I homeschooled my children for about 5 years. And as they got older, I decided I wanted to get back to work, but I didn't want to go to a 9 to 5 job.
Yes.
After spending all those years homeschooling, go back to a 9 to 5, that would have been grueling for me. And so I said, I've heard that many people are having businesses online and having success with it. So let me see what I can do. And I had a friend of mine who's an attorney ask me if I could help him with his social media. Oh. And that's how I started. I started very general, as most people were in the social media. And then as time went by, I started niching more towards where my talents lie. And that is in the repurposing and the social media ghostwriting.
Wow, absolutely phenomenal, and I picked up a few things when we had our initial video call, and that is that you are dedicated. And you are a people-centered leader, and I can see that people are really drawn to what you do and the person that you are, and I'm sure that helps you in your entrepreneurial role. So I commend you for taking that leap, studying, then changing your role to being a stay-at-home mother, which I think is very important. I mean, if you can do it because it's important for the family to be strong, to have a good foundation, and then reinventing yourself again and starting this online business. That is absolutely commendable. And you mentioned that you homeschooled your children. Now, I want to tell the audience, for those who don't know, I also homeschooled my children. So, Francine, would you like to elaborate on how did homeschooling them really shape them into leaders?
Absolutely. At some point in 2016, my daughter was in 7th grade and my son was in 4th grade. I did a little bit of substitute teaching a few days a week, and I noticed that there was something off in the way things were being taught, especially with math. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I was able to pull them out of school. Most people were surprised. How would you take your daughter out in 7th grade? Like, what about her friends? What about this? And I decided that there was a reason for me to do that. And I thank goodness I was right. So how is that shaping? How has that shaped them? Well, being that I was their major influence during some critical years in their life, I was able to shape them outside of the influence of peers. And that gave me the ability to set that foundation, critical thinking, what the difference between what is wrong and what is right. There's so much going on right now that thanks to the foundation that I was able to give my children, they can discern what's right and what's wrong. So those were, I homeschooled my daughter all the way through college until she got to college. And then my son, he got to 10th grade and he decided he wanted to go back to school, but I put him in a Christian school, private school. And I think that for them to become leaders, it will be important for them to not follow the pack and to be able to think critically on their own. And that is something that I was able to provide to them.
Absolutely amazing. And you are correct. There are so many external impulses, influences on our children today. Society has just gone haywire, especially with everything that the kids are faced with now. And you were there to assist them and help them through those most difficult parts. Now, I want to ask you, you're a mom. I'm a mom. We have businesses. We are busy. Francine, how do you facilitate work-life balance?
Well, the way that I facilitate work-life balance is, you have to be very strong on time management. Yeah. And you have to really stick to having parameters of when work starts and when it finishes. Because if you mix it all, it will take you twice as long to get anything done, whether it's in the home or or at work. And it's about keeping strong parameters and also writing everything down and sticking to your schedules. If not, you're prone to burn out faster than you would because it's just so much,
Yeah. So putting up strong boundaries, very good. Sticking to your time management, absolutely imperative. And we go through disappointments. We have businesses, We are people who are go-getters. Sometimes we make the right decision, sometimes we don't. How do we deal? How do you want to enrich the audience to when they get to a place where they face disappointment, where they face difficulties? How should they approach that task?
My recommendation, being that I'm a Christian, and this is what I do. Everybody's free to approach it in whichever way. Some people, they do heart math, they do meditation, for me, it's all about prayer. I guess I'm a newer Christian, right? I've been a Catholic all my life, but I guess I consider myself a newer Christian, where I'm really diving into the Word and following, the teachings of Jesus Christ. And for me, that doesn't mean that I don't meditate. I could meditate, but my priority is including God in my daily life and including Him in my business. And ever since I started doing that, because I didn't even understand what that meant a year ago, to be honest with you. It's like, I'd read the Bible. I was so confused, to be honest with you. Yeah. But as you read more and as you seek more, you will find, right? And those are not words from the Bible, I don't think, but that's what has happened to me. And so for me, it all starts in centering yourself in prayer and seeking God. And I know that's not popular for everyone, but that's where I'm coming from.
I love that. And here on Meticulous Moments, I speak openly about my faith. I speak about my love for God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I love your answer, because as a Christian, I know the power of prayer. And it's very important, that we bring it out there and enlighten other people that if they have no one to turn to, even if there's no one that will listen, even if they don't have the answer, God is always there, readily waiting to answer our prayers and to, just lift us out of our circumstance. Now, are there any quotes that you like in the books that you read? Any quotes that come up, something that you want to share with the audience that really inspires you?
Well, actually, I was thinking about a quote from the Bible or a passage from the Bible where it said, seek and you shall find. And in another part, God says, you have not because you ask not, right? Have not, whatever it is that you want or you need, whether it's, less stress, whether it's flow, whether it's knowledge, whatever it is. Ask God for that. Finances, ask God, you need more time off, more money for vacations, whatever it is, ask God for that. And those are the things that keep me inspired.
Anointed words, indeed, anointed words, and so many leadership principles and principles for business and being in family and being a spouse that comes from the Bible, that we can take those principles and apply them in our lives. And that's really why the Bible is timeless and it applies to every area of our lives. Now, role models, is there someone that is currently your role model? Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes, I would say very recent role model. I'll step out of the religion, and there's a lady that I've recently met. Her name is Madeline Wyke Silva, and she has a done for you service for multiple 6-figure and 7-figure entrepreneurs who are trying to scale and are just stuck not being able to do it. So her service does it all for them. And she's been doing this. She's had businesses, sold them. She's been doing what she does for 30 years. And I'm so inspired by how she tells people how you can create a business that is self-sustaining so that you can have it running as a well-oiled machine and focus on your vision. And I just eat up everything she talks about. Yeah.
Good guidance there. Absolutely great guidance. And your role as an entrepreneur, because that's who you are. You're an entrepreneur. You saw a gap in the industry and you went, and I'm so happy that God orchestrated everything for you, and just took you into this journey, because you are touching so many lives, you're adding so much value. How did your role as an entrepreneur start, and how does it shape you and mold you every day?
To me, entrepreneurship is kind of like a spiritual journey. I started it by accident, really. And I thought I was just going to just like do a little job here, to help people, my friend. And I had no idea that I was just going to kind of keep going and keep going. Keep going and actually try to turn it into a real business and keep, I guess it's kind of addictive, right? If you can make it past, and so it shaped me, because in this entrepreneurial journey, you are able to really it's like looking in the mirror. You see, what might be the things that are holding you back. What are some of the issues that you have that have maintained you stuck, whether that is, fear of being visible, fear of what other people say. Maybe there is a gap in skills that you need to have the courage to move forward and address, so that you can move your business forward. For me, it was, I can't get into social media because I think I'm too old for that. That's for like 25-year-olds. And I used to look at Instagram like, I can't, produce photos like this. Well, my thinking was completely wrong, but I didn't stop myself, right? So you exercise, it's an exercise in persistence, resilience, and so many other things that's why it's good to have God on your side.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amen to that. I want to say, preach it, sister, preach it. Tell me, Francine, you help CEOs to market more, and I love this because I saw it on your Facebook profile. You help CEOs to market more without creating more content. So they market more, but so you repurpose, as you've said. How does that work? How do you approach that?
That works because many of the people that I work with already have a lot of amazing content, and they just keep creating more and more. Some people may not have that content, but I help them create that one piece of monthly long form or core content that we can take, that I can take, and basically dice it into many different forms for the many different platforms that they're in. Right, that they're on, so that and maintain the messaging consistent, so that they have more volume, more output. There's more output of content nowadays, because it's pretty crowded out there in the online space. You need to be seen all the time. You need to be there all the time, and if you're not, as soon as you stop posting for a few days, the algorithm already pulls you back a little bit. So you need to be visible consistently and be in front of your audience, because they say that the buyer's journey, somebody has to be exposed to you from 7 to 12 times, I think it is. So you want to be in front of them at least 7 to 12 times, so that they get closer and go down the buyer's journey. Another thing to consider is that most of the content that you put out there, most people don't see. So that's why it takes that volume, so that, you have more chances to hit people. So more output, and it's not rocket science. It's just about implementation. It is work, and you need to have a system in order to be able to continue that. And the people that I work with, that's not their thing. They want to do another thing, and they want to delegate everything else. So that's what I do for them.
Beautiful. And that's where you come in, and that's where you have that phenomenal role, because you service that part of their business that they don't have maybe time for. Or have lost interest in. So you've identified it, you fill it, and I think that's just amazing. That's very important when you're an entrepreneur, is to identify those gaps. Now, I want to ask you, I always promote personal and professional development extensively, whether it's in the ministry in the church where I preach, or whether it is in the businesses that I'm involved or in the corporate world where I give training, I always hammer on the fact that we have to develop personally and professionally, and that we have to do so continuously. Why is that important in your mind as well? Is it important? How important is it, and why?
Yeah, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to continue to build, because things change so quickly, that you have to stay on top of that. On top, we simply just do not know what we don't know. So it's important, I think, to have some type of mentor or community around us, because that will shorten our level of frustration and shorten the amount of time that it might take us to get to where we're trying to go. Of course, it's important to know who it is that you're paying to mentor you, what community, because there are a lot of different, people out there that might not be the best. So when you're looking for professional, personal development, you really, my advice is never follow that immediate urge to sign up to something because the space is running out or time is running out. Follow people for some time, because the bigger and the shinier they are, as time goes by, the layers start falling off. And so that will save you a ton of money and a ton of heartache if you are patient and you take your time.
I love what you just said, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I am one of those people, if I'm pressured to make a decision, I'd rather just leave it. I'm not someone that are pressured into things because I don't want to make a mistake. I'm very meticulous about things like that, because I know if I make a mistake, there are other people that are going to be influenced or be in that. It's gonna cause a reaction for them as well. It's gonna impact them. So I agree with you, because sometimes something does look big and bright and shiny and amazing, and it's really not as the time passes. I appreciate you for sharing that wonderful, wonderful wisdom. I want to ask you, Francine, you are busy with the social media. You are busy with, helping CEOs to scale. You help them to repurpose their content. What is there that is next for you? How can we support you? How can we cheer you on? How can we promote you? Because we are here to uplift the community, and we are here to uplift you. And as a thank you for being here and for giving us your knowledge, how can we assist you?
Well, thank you very much. So yes, the next thing for me is I'm going to continue to build my business. For now, I plan to maintain it a boutique type of service, low volume, very high ticket, just a handful of private clients. So if anyone knows a visionary CEO, a CEO who may have a team already, who may not have one, but they are most definitely in the upper 6 figures, even 7 figures, and they are looking for, in addition to their team, someone who is knowledgeable, reliable, and competent, and loves doing this, pass them along. My email is hello@FrancineSinclair.com. As I continue, I am going to start branching out a bit into the corporate field as an additional part of my business to help subject matter experts take all that content that they have in their head so that they can build a personal brand that can attract business to their firms and their companies as well. So that's another project that I'm working on as well. So there is a wonderful lead magnet on my website by the time this airs. And my website is FrancineSinclair.com. You will see a button that says Get Content Repurposing Guide. You can click on that and you will get a comprehensive content repurposing guide. Basically, how to go about repurposing. And so that should be up by the time this airs. I hope it's not today that it airs, though. So within the next few days, it should be up and running.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell me, Francine, now you are busy with all of that, and we are certainly gonna cheer you on. And we are not just going to cheer you on. We're going to support you. We're going to follow you on social media, and we are going to pray for you on top of all of that, that God will always lift you and just take you into higher spaces. And you are on the right track, my friend, because I spoke to a mind coach yesterday, and he's also repurposing his business. He's reframing everything, and he's going up to higher clients. And he said, Jay, I just want 12 good clients for a year. He said, that's max, because then I can focus in on them. It's not an overload. So when you mentioned now your approach, I just want to say, I think you are doing so extremely well. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you, before we end the session, because I know you made special time for us to do this interview, I want to ask you, do you have any words of wisdom for the audience?
Well, my word of advice would be to, fail early. Like, don't be afraid of failing. And I know it sounds cliche, but the first, I'd say 2 solid years, and I'm sure that maybe COVID had a little bit to do with how much I failed, just because my state of mind during that time initially. But, I had to fail so many times. And if it wasn't because I prayed and God gave me the strength, I probably would have quit, because, as a mother who has kids and, my daughter getting ready for university, everything, it just happening at the same time, everything going on in the world, plus then also having to deal with this business, it was just a lot. And sometimes you just feel like, oh my God, I just want to stop. Let me just go back to cleaning the house and doing things that I don't have to think this much.
Yeah.
And but I knew that I had already planted the seed in my heart that I was going to make this happen, because I want to leave a legacy for my children, be an example for them. There is no straight, absolute, rigid path that you can be like me, stay at home, be in corporate, then quit for 13 years, then come back and build something new and different. You don't just have to go to college and follow a narrow path like we were all taught. So it doesn't matter what your circumstances are, being an entrepreneur, it's in the first few years until you get to that $250,000 mark, probably. It's a lot of energy and work, and potentially even burnout, and just find ways of, taking care of yourself and never quitting, and keep on praying, because God will help you.
Absolutely. Amen. And your faith shines through, and your faith this evening, Francine, is speaking to someone. Your demeanor is speaking to someone. Your passion on everything that you do, your love for your children, it's speaking to someone in the audience this evening. And I want to say a personal thank you from Meticulous Moments for making time for us, Francine, because I know you are extremely busy. You are an amazing individual. I am blessed to know you and to call you a sister. And I am just very excited to see what God is going to do for you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Juanita. It was a pleasure. See you
Awesome. And to the Meticulous Moments audience, you know what to do. We are going to make Francine's contact details available at the end of the session. Network with her, reach out to her, cheer her on this journey, and pray for her. And we are going to see great things transpire. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next session. Goodbye.
Bye.